Say hello to the Moto G Play 2026. So it's been a little while since we had one of these, but this is a decent phone at a decent price. It's $169 MSRP. There's going to be some limited carrier availability at different places, I believe, like Metro and things like that. But this is one of those phones where it's basically about as bare bones as you can get, but it still has some nice little extras. Like it does have 120 hertz refresh rate. It has a 32 megapixel primary camera on it, and it's also got a 5200 milliamp battery with the Dimensity 6300. So what we're talking about here is basically you've got kind of low end performance that can do the daily stuff that you want to do that won't break the bank, and it also has 5G. It has nano SIM support, and it also has eSIM support now too. So for all those different carriers and places using eSIM now, it does have that. It has 64 gigabytes of storage, but there is an expandable SD card slot, which is nice, so you can put extra storage in there. Has a headphone jack, which is also nice. It has stereo speakers, not just one speaker, it has two, which are pretty decent, especially for the price and the package. And it has Dolby Atmos sound, which is pretty nice too. So that's a nice pick me up. It has a fingerprint scanner built into the power button. It has facial recognition, and it looks premium. Like nobody's going to look at this phone and be like, "Oh, that looks like a $170 phone." It looks premium. It's got this nice vegan leather back on it, and this is the only color that it comes in, at least as far as I know. And I like this color. The color is called Pantone Tapestry. I couldn't remember that. Let's call it grayish blue. It does have 18-watt charging. It doesn't have wireless charging, which I'm totally okay with, especially at the price point. But 5200 milliamp battery with the Dimensity 6300, you're going to get all-day performance out of this phone. So this is an all-day phone that takes okay pictures. Here's some picture samples. I went ahead and I took some just so you can kind of see what it looks like. Now, it does look like it has two cameras on the back, but one is just an additional light sensor. So that's going to help you take better portrait shots. But anyway, I think that it takes okay photos for what you're getting. You get 30 frames per second video, full HD, and I think that you'll probably be happy with it, especially for the price point. I think the color representation is pretty good, and the photos overall, I don't really have a problem with. So yes, you've got a 8 megapixel selfie, 32 megapixel primary camera, and then in addition to all that, you've got IP52 dust and water resistance, which is basically nothing. I mean, it's basically you're not going to get dust inside your phone, and it's slightly splash resistant. So definitely don't be putting this one under the faucet. Don't take it in the shower with you. Don't drop it in the pool because it is not protected against that stuff. But for what you get, and just throwing that out there, gee whiz, the expandable storage is up to 1 terabyte. So you've got 64 onboard, up to 1 terabyte with the external SD card, which is nice. You can put that in there. And this is going to do stuff that you want to do for daily stuff. It's going to be like you can use X, you can use Facebook, you can use your social media, you can play some light games, you can play some Boom Beach. You're going to be able to send messages and things like that. So it's one of those things where it's got an enjoyable experience, at least for the price point. I mean, we're at a point now where phones really just aren't that bad. You know, if you asked me about a $170 phone 5 years ago, I'd be like, okay, don't spend your money on that. Like, definitely don't spend your money on that. But it is nice, and you look at the storage stuff as far as the settings that goes in here. It has 64 gigs of storage. It's going to use some of that for the additional RAM boost, which I recommend turning on. So let's go ahead and do the RAM boost. So I have it set on max of 8 gigabytes, so you can have up to 12 gigabytes of RAM total. It has 4 gigs of dedicated RAM, and then it basically uses some of your shared storage for additional space for memory. So you can go into the system, and in system, you go down to the bottom where it says performance, and then there's an option for RAM boost. Just tap on that. So I've got it fully maxed out. By default is on auto. Auto, it's just going to kind of change throughout however you're using the phone, but it's going to run better overall if you just leave it on 8. And if you put an extra SD card in there, you're never going to really worry about storage at all whatsoever. And 64 gigabytes is not a lot of storage. I kind of wish it had 128 out of the box, but you know, if you want a little bit extra in some of the other departments, I'd say go ahead and get the Moto G Power, which also comes out and it's $200. So for it's crazy what they do for 170 and then what they do for 200. I mean, just that extra $40, $30 difference. There is quite a bit of a difference there. But yeah, if you just want to get something that's super cheap, something that's going to last you a while, something that is probably going to take you forever before you get security patches and updates and things like that, it's one of those things where, okay, It works well. It's got Android 16 out of the box. You're going to get a couple of updates, but it'll probably be a year from now before you get one. And then on top of that, yeah, it's supposed to get bi-monthly security patches. So every other month, it's one of those things where expectations probably not super high. I mean, even with the flagship Motorola phones, even like I've got a Motorola Razr Ultra, you're still not going to be getting stuff as fast as you would with Samsung or iPhone or even with Google. But you're also not getting a $160 phone with those guys either. So I think for what they calculated and put into this phone for the price point, I think it's going to be enjoyable. You got a 6.7-inch display. It's HD. 720p. So what that does, I mean, I think it looks fine. It looks sharp and crisp enough on this screen. I don't think it's anything worth complaining about. And it's got Gorilla Glass 3 as well, which Gorilla Glass 3 is my all-time favorite. Well, up until now, the Gorilla Glass Ceramic 2 is really, really good. But Gorilla Glass 3, it's nice because it keeps you from getting a lot of scratches on your screen. It's not as good in the whole shadow resistant department, but it's really good at keeping you from getting a bunch of scratches on your screen. But definitely pick up a screen protector off of Amazon or something like that. The screen is not bad to look at. It doesn't have super high brightness. It's not 3,000, 4,000 like some of the more expensive phones. It doesn't have a flagship chip. It doesn't have top-of-the-line cameras, but you're also paying less than $200. And you're getting Dolby Atmos stereo speakers. You're getting 120 hertz refresh rate. You get expandable storage. You get a headphone jack if you want to use it. And it's a nice, sharp-looking phone. Like I think that it looks good. I think that it takes okay photos. I think that everything that it does for what you're paying for it is totally acceptable. So if you just want to get something, you need something cheap, something for your kids, something for your grandparents, something for your mom or your dad who are older and don't want to get an iPhone, or you don't want an expensive thing, or you just need a phone that's going to do what you need it to. It's going to be reliable. It's going to get you all day battery life, and it's going to do the basics. That's what you get here. And I'm totally okay with that. Like I don't have a problem with it. I think it's one of those things where there's a lot of different phones out there. Some people need a $1,000 phone. Some people are just like, look, I just need something to check my email. I need something I can play my little slot machine game app on. I need something that I can play Boom Beach on. I need something that I can, track my kids, or something where I can do just some bare minimum stuff. And I don't want to pay a whole lot of money for a phone. Some people still look at phones just like, look, I got to have one. I need it for this and that. I just need some access for certain things, but I don't need anything crazy. And Motorola still fits the bill in that department. So if you're looking for something that won't break the bank, that gives you the basics with a little extra flair, a couple of niceties, the 120 hertz refresh rate is super nice when you're using it. And it's a pretty fluid experience. I mean, yes, when you get on it, when you start running more apps, it's not something really for multitasking. It doesn't have the RAM support for that. This is not an AI phone. It's not one of those things that's going to be doing a lot of high-end functionality. But the basics, normal apps, day-to-day stuff, decent camera, and a nice everyday using experience, then yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't have a problem recommending it. I don't have a problem with anybody picking one up. And it's a sharp looking phone with some of the extras in the box. So that's all I've got on the Moto G Play 2026. I think that it's a totally fine phone for $169. And if you're interested in picking one up, it may be just the phone that you're looking for. And if not, well, you didn't lose a lot of money. So that's all I got. If you have any questions, comments, gripes, concerns, complaints, all that stuff, please, of course, go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.